crack open your shell on top of your dad's feet, in a wind colder than the inside of your freezer, and your first breath tastes like ice. Welcome to Antarctica. Your mom isn't here. She left 2 months ago to go fishing. Your dad has been standing on this same patch of ice the whole time, balancing your egg between his feet, eating absolutely nothing, losing half his body weight just to keep you warm. Touching, right? Don't get used to it. This is genuinely the nicest moment of your entire life. You're an emperor penguin chick, about the size of a pear, covered in fluffy gray down, and completely useless at literally everything except slipping off your dad's feet and dying instantly in a -40-degree blizzard. So please, do not do that. For the first few hours, your only job is to stay warm and beg for food. Dad's running on fumes, but he produces a milky goo from his throat just for you. It's basically penguin formula made of regret. Slurp it up. He's been holding on to it specifically in case mom didn't make it back in time. He's been a single father for one whole afternoon, and he's already crushing it. Speaking of mom, there she is, finally, waddling across the ice after a 75-kilometer round trip to the ocean. She finds you in a colony of thousands of nearly identical chirping pairs, using only your voice. Why? Because somehow that works. She vomits up half-digested fish into your mouth. You experience your first proper meal, and Dad sprints, well, slow-motion stumbles, toward the sea to eat for the first time in 4 months. Romantic. Now, you live in a daycare, a real one. It's called a creche, and it's basically a crowd of chicks huddled together while every adult goes fishing. Imagine being dropped off at preschool, except the playground is ice, the teacher is the wind, and there's a giant petrel circling overhead, waiting to eat the slowest kid. Yeah, it's like that. Your siblings, well, technically not your siblings, but the chicks next to you, start disappearing one by one. Skuas come in low and grab them like flying McNuggets. You learn very fast that standing in the middle of the creche is good, and standing on the edge is a death sentence. Hardcore Minecraft tutorial complete. Months pass. You grow. Your gray fluff starts falling out in patches, and underneath you discover sleek black and white feathers that say one thing: you were built for water. Cool. Except you've never seen water. You've only seen ice, more ice, and the occasional terrifying fluffy puff of your own breath. Then comes the day. You and a few thousand teenage penguins waddle to the edge of the world. The ice ends. Below you is dark blue ocean, deeper than you can imagine, and very obviously full of things that want to eat you. Your instincts say jump. Your body says please don't. Eventually somebody else jumps first. They always do. You belly flop in. It's freezing. It's wonderful. You discover something important. You are, in fact, very good at this. You stop being a clumsy potato on land and become an underwater rocket. You can dive over 500 meters deep and hold your breath for nearly 20 minutes. You're catching fish in seconds. You're flying through the water like a tiny torpedo in a tuxedo. Show off. You spot a school of silverfish glittering below, fold your wings tight against your sides, and drop. You can hit speeds close to 9 kilometers per hour underwater, which doesn't sound fast until you remember you have wings instead of arms, and feet that look like rubber spatulas. You snap up your first wild fish and feel something close to pride. Don't enjoy it too long. And then a leopard seal grabs you by the leg. If you're lucky, you slip away with just a chunk missing and a story to tell. If you're not, well, you become the leopard seal's lunch, and we don't make this video. Let's assume lucky. You make it back to the ice bleeding, traumatized, and slightly more aware that the ocean is a buffet and you are also food. The leopard seal vanishes back into the dark, knowing exactly what you taste like. You spend the next few years swimming, eating, dodging seals, dodging orcas, and growing into a full-sized adult. You're now about 1 meter tall, and you weigh as much as a microwave. Congratulations. The good news is you're finally too big for most birds to bother with. The bad news is leopard seals got bigger too, and orcas were always bigger. You stop counting the friends who didn't come back from a single dive. You stop having friends, really. Penguins don't really do friends. You just have everybody. At around 4 years old, you start feeling weird, restless. You join thousands of other penguins on the longest, dumbest waddle of your life, back to the same icy nowhere where you were born. We're talking 75 kilometers, on legs that are roughly the length of a baby carrot. It takes weeks. Some of you don't make it. You walk through whiteouts, blizzards, and stretches of ice so flat, your brain stops trusting it. You walk in single file, because somebody at the front is always the lookout, and somebody at the back is always quietly disappearing. You don't talk about it. The ones who do are now ready for something even worse: dating. Mating season arrives, and emperor penguins do not mess around. You find a partner by bowing, calling, and standing perfectly still next to each other for hours. It's the slowest, weirdest version of the dating game ever filmed, and there's no host. If they like the cut of your tuxedo, congratulations, you are married. For 1 year, stay focused. Cheating is technically allowed, but socially frowned upon, which is also pretty much how human dating works. If you're female, you lay one single egg and immediately hand it off to the male like it's a hot potato. Then you walk back to the ocean to eat. Honestly, between giving birth and dropping off a package at the post office, there's not really a difference. If you're male, you get the egg. You will now stand in one place for the next 2 months, balancing it on your feet, in the worst weather on earth, eating nothing, while every other dad presses up against you in a giant huddle to share body heat. Sometimes you rotate positions like a slow-motion mosh pit. Sometimes the wind hits -60 degrees Celsius. The temperature inside the huddle, in the middle, can climb past 30 degrees Celsius. The dads on the outside slowly shuffle inward, as the dads on the inside slowly shuffle outward. It's the most polite survival strategy on the planet. You will lose almost half your body weight. Your reward is meeting your child for about 10 minutes, before mom comes back and you sprint to the sea, finally, to eat. You'll do this every year, for years. Eventually you start to feel it. Your dives get shorter, your fish keep slipping away. One afternoon, a seal you would have outswum in your prime gets close enough that you actually feel its breath. You make it back, but barely. You sit on the ice that night, and you know. The wind doesn't change. The colony doesn't notice. Nothing in Antarctica really notices anything, ever. A younger penguin shoots past you, chasing the same fish you just missed. Maybe it's your kid. Probably not. Penguins don't really keep track. You bow your head, the wind picks up, and somewhere across the colony, a new chick is cracking open its shell on top of its dad's feet. You waddle back toward the huddle one last time. You close your eyes. Antarctica keeps happening, with or without you.